Welcome to our deep dive into the world of hip hop and entrepreneurship. Today, we're exploring the rise, influence, and legacy of one of the most iconic labels in music history, Badboy Entertainment. Founded by the legendary Sean Diddy Combs, Badboy Entertainment has been a game changer in the music industry. So, sit back, relax, and join us as we unravel the full story of Diddy's Badboy Entertainment. For most of his college years, Combs worked at a few internships in New York following his studies. These included all-night shifts at Uptown, which turned into a directorial job in an hour where he was promoted by Andre Harrell. Combs had hoped to become an owner of a record label like Harrell, but was expected to work in the marketing department. During his time at Uptown, Combs became an important party to the New Jack Swing moment, a defining period during the late 80s. He gravitated toward the music business, and his fast, likable persona led him down a different career path. In an interview with Revolver, he described how it all began during a New Jack Swing tour when Combs looked after an artist he couldn't manage to get an hour job at Uptown. During his childhood, Combs became a paperboy at 12, and 1 year later, he would be selling newspapers. He also took on summer jobs and various internships. Combs excelled in school, receiving grades good enough to skip 2 grades. He went on to attend a Roman Catholic boys' high school in Mount Vernon named Iona Prep with a partial athletic scholarship. Here he played defensive tackle and spent 3 years at the university where he was a business major. Sean Combs was born in Harlem in 1970 and grew up in Mount Vernon, New York. He picked up the nickname Puff when he was young because he would huff and puff when he was agitated. It would later be retooled into P. Diddy. Combs had no less than 10 other monikers. Combs' father, at the age of 33, was shot to death in his car when Combs was just 2. The murder reportedly occurred after a Harlem drug dealer with ties to the late Frank Lucas attempted to rob Combs' father. Sean Combs entered the University of Howard in Washington, D.C., with a plan to become a businessman. He would run a major corporation such as General Mills or Revlon. But a road trip to Atlanta in 1990 with boys from Howard changed that. The encounter with the burgeoning genre of hip-hop music altered Combs' direction. He interned and got a job with Uptown Records, joining the crew as a party promoter, a position he milked to learn all he could about record making and promotion. He then moved into R&R at age 19, filling a spot that had been vacated by his Howard mentor, a talent scout, after he made a speculative phone call to a member of Heavy D's troupe and offered to do the job for free. He got the go-ahead from the label's president. His most critical move at Uptown was to become executive producer for the soundtrack of Uptown's celluloid venture, Uptown Unplugged, a collection that struck double platinum. At this point, Combs was exhibiting a knack for hopping aboard the express train. He had gotten in on Uptown just as hip-hop's high watermark was receding, and the label's investor MCA opted to shed Uptown's music division in a consolidation effort. With this upheaval, Combs recalls, "Uptown was where I really learned I didn't know anything about record producing. So what happened at MCA and Uptown going down, that was a blessing in disguise for me. I saw it as a chance to start my own company." Spurred by Andre Harrell, CEO of Uptown, Combs proceeded to put Badboy Records on the map and in the process earned Uptown's status as the premier urban contemporary label. Biggie was the first of many successful bad boy artists. Craig Mack's Flavor in Your Ear was the label's first hit single, and a remix of the song featuring a memorable verse from Biggie, and less memorable verses from Puffy and former EPMD rapper Busta Rhymes, made the song an even bigger success. Bass, another noticeable contributor to the Bad Boy legacy, has added much-needed charisma, humor and a crip walk to the label, though his indecisive spiritual development and retirement, re-emergence from the rap game have been a bit of a letdown. With Puffy behind him, Mace's debut album Harlem World went 4x platinum, and had the whole world saying what you want, Puff. Shiny suit jokes aside, Mace would later become the closest thing to a bad boy artist to ever reach Jay-Z's stature in the game. They four meet in the aftermath of a DMX mixtape which left him craving his aggressive beats, and a guilt trip from God which made him flee the negative influences in his life. He would eventually leave the music industry altogether to pursue a career in ministry, leaving behind a legacy and a void in the rap game that has yet to be filled. Puffy started Badboy Records in 1993 with a simple plan: to develop a stable of artists who would succeed largely due to his innovative marketing strategies, and by doing so increase the range of visual possibility for rap music. Puffy's first major star was Biggie Smalls. Biggie's first release, Juicy, was destined to become a classic. The Smooth Rags to Riches story showcased Biggie's impeccable flow and married it to an uplifting track based on Entomb's Juicy Fruit, and an unforgettable "It Was All a Dream" refrain. Puffy truly brought Biggie to the masses with the release of a remix to the song, cleverly titled Juicy. This version of the song in many ways became more popular than the original, while raising anticipation for his debut album Ready to Die. Notorious Big. His debut Ready to Die was the album that first brought critical acclaim and financial success to Combs' fledgling label. Released September 13, 1994, the album immediately before Bad Boy's return to distribution through Arista. The album was a huge commercial success, and the remix of its lead single Juicy would become the first of many Bad Boy singles to top the charts. Biggie's success not only served to elevate Bad Boy but also helped to solidify New York's supremacy on the national scene as the reigning capital of hip-hop music. Biggie's career was ironically captivated by the question of his own death, and his murder is widely accepted to be related to feuds between East and West Coast rappers. The parallel rise to success of both Biggie and Tupac and the subsequent death of both artists is often noted as the end of the golden era of hip-hop. Biggie's death was preceded by a double album and sudden burst in creativity. He recorded enough material for a double album, Life After Death, which featured a smorgasbord of diverse music styles and showcased Biggie's growth as an artist. However, he would not live to see its March 25, 1997 release. Though Sean Puff Daddy Combs would release a single of his own on Bad Boy, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, amidst the string of hugely successful album releases in 1997. His signature as an artist would be to assemble other artists and producers to create music under his direction. By the time this single was released, Combs had assembled some of the foremost names in hip-hop and R&B. The careers of Joe Tsai, Biggie, Mary J. Blige, and Heavy D were all boosted by Combs' early work at Uptown Records. However, it was during the dispute over publishing rights to Uptown's artists which led to his ousting that Combs developed his role as a music mogul and tastemaker rather than a mere producer and rapper. Then 112 had their fair share. In the late 1990s, Cupid would reach number 13 on the Hot 100 and R&B singles, while the Polo Dardon produced Dance With Me would be the last 112 track on the Bad Boy to make the top 20 on either chart. Next, big things came for Bad Boy and Mase, whose Can't Nobody Hold Me Down single was released in early 1997 and reached number 1 on the Hot 100 chart. This was an overwhelming success for Mase, who expressed his gratitude on an episode of MTV's Diary with a young Diddy by his side in the video. And Mase wasn't finished there. The Bad Boy sequel would reach number 2 on the Hot R&B singles with another banger titled Feel So Good. Though Biggie was Bad Boy's flagship artist, it wasn't his Juicy track that was Bad Boy's first Billboard Top 10 hit. According to the Hot R&B singles, the first Bad Boy hit was Craig Mack's Flower in Your Ear. The track was produced by Puff himself and features a remix with LL Cool J, Busta Rhymes, Rampage, and the Notorious Big, probably one of the best posse cuts in hip-hop history. Biggie's Juicy would later peak at number 8 on the Hot 100 chart and is considered one of the classic rap songs of the 1990s. At the time of its existence, it was uncommon to see a major hip-hop act who had not worked with Puff Daddy. Bad Boy Entertainment had its biggest success era from the mid-1990s to the late 2000s, when acts shined on them, which simply meant they had a great song or album. Whether a hip-hop or R&B act, Puffy always managed to produce a catchy hit that would hit mainstream radio. Acts such as Notorious Big, Mase, and 112 were at the forefront of Bad Boy's chart-topping success. Let's talk about the impact on hip-hop culture. As well as changes in music style, the fashion of artists at Badboy were just as influential. Artists such as Notorious Big brought the ghetto fabulous style to the mainstream with designer suits and Versace shades. Bass, another influential member, introduced a more subtle fashion, trading iced-out jewelry for a more modest look with shiny suit and tie ensembles. This attracted much media attention, even landing a spread in GQ magazine. With newfound fans from the pop and R&B music scene, urban fashion and style had a new platform in mainstream media. This exposure continues to have effects to this day, with mainstream music video outlets such as MTV allotting more time for hip-hop and R&B videos than in the past. It can be said that the Badboy sound redefined hip-hop during the 1990s. Puffy's fusion of an upbeat melody and bass with hard-hitting lyrics has set a precedent for many hip-hop and R&B productions in the latter part of the decade. The production and arrangement of songs such as Juicy and More Money More Problems revived the market for a party-type atmosphere, which was missing in the early 90s when a more political slant was adopted by groups such as Public Enemy and NWA. These types of records allowed Puffy to branch out from his traditional hip-hop fan base, attracting new fans from the pop R&B music scene. Controversy and legal issues involving Badboy artists also were pointed inward at the label by some hip-hop critics and fans. It was speculated that the shiny suit era gained popularity with the murder of the Notorious Big. It was often thought that Combs became overprotective of his artists around this time, discouraging them from recording street material and going as far as to appear in their videos dancing in shiny suits. It was and still is the general consensus of hip-hop fans that Combs made making a Badboy album equivalent to creating pop music rather than hip-hop. Ryan Leslie, former producer and recording artist for Badboy, stated, "What I saw at Badboy was a businessman at work versus a visionary. Puff's thing was to assemble the market research, see what's hot and find a way to do that. And I wasn't entirely ready to sign on to that way of living versus this is my music, this is my art." Badboy found itself involved in legal situations throughout its existence. Sean Combs has been a named defendant in multiple lawsuits. Badboy has been sued for copyright infringement by other artists. Some notable lawsuits involve Puff Daddy being sued by his former driver, Wardo Fenderson. Fenderson had been acquitted of gun charges stemming from an incident involving Sean Combs, Combs' then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, and rap impresario Suge Knight at a Manhattan nightclub. Fenderson's lawsuit against Combs claimed that he was owed money for taking the gun possession charges. In 1999, a jury awarded Fenderson $1.8 million in the case. On April 18, 2008, Badboy was named in a copyright infringement lawsuit stemming from the hit song Special Delivery. The suit had been filed against Badboy artist G-Dep and producer Ron Emanuel Lawrence by the heirs of the late reggae performer Sugar Minott. Minott found that Special Delivery contained lyric and rhythm patterns from his song Lovers Rock. G-Dep and Ron Lawrence had been ordered to pay $180,000 in the case. The result in the end turned out less favorable for Diddy in a separate trial, where he was fined $18 million, plus the same amount in punitive damages for assault, battery, and making terroristic threats to record promoter Steven Lorenzo. On April 16, 1999, Lorenzo's lawyer Ronald Sweeney was quoted saying, "The contract Mr. Combs signed today is much more valuable than the deal he paid our client $100,000 to enter in 1993, referring to the money Lorenzo had received from Diddy after the near-fatal incident in 1993 where Lorenzo was shot in the back of the head over a business dispute. In 1998, Badboy was sued by a musician from the Ohio Players, a 70s funk band, who claimed that the use of the word publishing in one of their songs by Diddy and Biggie is a direct reference to the plaintiff's song Singing in the Morning. The case was squashed in 2002 by Judge Gerard Lynch, who declared no substantial similarity had been shown and threw out the case in its entirety. The legal setbacks the Badboy empire has faced have been considered by some to be the acts of a curse on Diddy, stemming from his termination as president of Uptown Records. Yet, others take the more cynical view and see these as mere inevitable consequences of exploiting the music industry for personal gain. In 1999 to 2000, during the release of Ride or Die Vol 1 and Puffy's Forever LP, the Lox started a war with Badboy. Rumors say that Puffy and Mace really wanted to sign the Lox, but the deal went sour after the Lox members got a look at Puffy's contract, which they deemed unfair. This would also lead to the Lox engaging in a long beef with Eminem and Dr. Dre that would escalate all the way to mid-2005, culminating in an infamous confrontation at the Hit Factory in New York City that led to a physical altercation. This beef would soon spawn into the Lox wanting out of their deal with Diddy and Badboy and result in their protectively critical We Are the Streets LP leaking to the internet, forcing them to make a hasty exit from the label. They finally got their release from Badboy in early 2005. But in the height of the East Coast versus West Coast feud, Diddy and Biggie would be engaged in a lyrical war with Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight from Death Row Records. After Tupac was killed in mid-1996 and speculation began to rise that he was killed at the hands of a Biggie-backed hit, Shakur allies and Outlaws members Napoleon and Yaki Gaddafi made a track called Changed Man with lyrics dissing Biggie, which then leaked to the radio. The track even hinted at an alliance with Suge Knight, and Diddy responded with a track called What You Gonna Do, which was a subliminal retort that Kingpin eventually outed on the radio. Sean P. Diddy Combs used the wealth he'd amassed to fund some lucrative ventures into fashion and film. With the foray into fashion, Combs complemented the vivid imagery of his music and personal style. He started his own clothing lines such as Sean John and Sean by Sean Combs, which were considered a reflection of Combs' own personal style, and a way to bring refinement to the urban youth of America. Sean John has enjoyed critical and commercial success with lines for men, women, and children, and is one of the few clothing brands to feature its own booth at the prestigious Magic Clothing Trade Show in Las Vegas. He has accrued numerous award nominations for the high quality that is consistently being delivered, and is a staple in many different music and fashion magazines. MTV even ran a show called I Want a Famous Face where customers could win surgeries to look like their favorite celebrities or their own personal dream, done by renowned surgeons, with the winner receiving a head-to-toe Sean John reconstruction. This growth was soon mired in litigation, however, despite its winning a copyright infringement case filed by a New York apparel designer who held that the company had stolen his designs, patterns, and color schemes. Agile Culture, the line of clothing inspired by African American jazz culture, was replaced by EcoMobil pushing a trademark infringement lawsuit, and 7-time Tour de France winning cyclist Lance Armstrong successfully brought a suit against the company for usage of the trademark phrase, the Tour. Sean John has also been open to various high-profile endorsements, most notably the 2003 advertisement featuring Combs' then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, riding on the message that good things will happen if you wear Sean John fragrance. This ad raked in an estimated US $2.5 million worth of extra hits to Sean John's website in a week as Combs launched his own perfume, Unforgivable. In 2016, Sean John signed a licensing agreement with GBG to manufacture and distribute its men's sportswear label, a still upcoming addition to its ever-growing empire. In film, Combs has been a producer of both documentary and auteur endeavors. In 2001, he was an executive producer of the Academy Award-winning documentary Uprising, Hip Hop and the La Riots, and he once had plans to do a run of children's films, an untitled biopic of Fats Domino, and a remake of the 1968 film head originally featuring the Monkees, which ended when it was pulled from theaters. He has bought rights to a graphic novel, The Man with the Iron Fists, Shaolin Monks, for development into a martial arts video game. In September of 1998, Sean John Clothes made its celebrated debut in the fashion world with a well-received runway show during New York City's Fashion Week. With the launch of his signature collection, Diddy showed that he is not only a talented tastemaker with an innate sense of what's cool, but also a leader with a unique vision and ability to make things happen. Today, the Sean John brand has firmly established itself as a lifestyle brand that has, through the years, expanded its offering to include award-winning men's tailored and classic fashion, eyewear, children's, and most recently, a women's line, as well as a multitude of other lifestyle products. In July 2008, Sean John launched its first ever fragrance from a partnership with the Estee Lauder Corporation, which ended up garnering a prestigious Fifi Award in 2009. He also opened a store in New York City. In 2004, Combs and Nasir entered the children's fashion industry with lines now distributed by the Children's Apparel Network. A Christina Aguilera by Bond fragrance was released in May 2004, a joint venture taking some financial stake in Combs Licensing Limited, inking a deal with Bravado, the only global music branded lifestyle product company. With new branded fashion being released, Combs' female fan base has grown over the past few years and is highly expected to do so in the years to come. Unforgivable by Sean John is probably Combs' most successful fragrance to date and has resulted in something never done before by a celebrity, with the fragrance ranked the #1 selling SKU in store in America. As of recent, Sean John has announced a trial launch for Unforgivable with a new 30ml mini bottle that is expected to not only bring maximum revenue back to Combs and Sean John from production costs, but also give consumers a cheap alternative during the global financial crisis. The music icon also executive produced a critically acclaimed documentary on the legendary Notorious Big, under the banner of his joint venture with MTV Films. The film was a crafted reenactment of the life and untimely death of Biggie, a beloved friend and flagship artist for Badboy, played by actor Derek Luke. Initially, Combs' role focused on the hiring of Luke, even stepping in to play the part of record producer, actor D-Rock. Diddy has since assumed a more hands-on role in Hollywood, taking acting lessons from Grey Studios in Los Angeles, and signing with the world-renowned TALENTWORKS agency. While filming the documentary Can't Stop, Won't Stop, The Bad Boy Story, Sean Combs brought on Heather Parry as the executive producer to capture the essence of the Bad Boy reunion tour. Heather Parry and Live Nation Productions teamed up with Apple Music to distribute the rights of the documentary, and also packaged the short film highlighting the rise and effect of the More Money, More Problems single on the death of Notorious Big. Diddy's move to more complex and large-scale ventures has been evident in recent years, beginning with his production company, Bad Boy Films, which has produced such movies as A Raisin in the Sun, Made, The Bad Boys of Comedy, and the infamous Monsters Ball, for which Halle Berry won an Academy Award for Best Actress. Monsters Ball was the first film to be produced by a hip-hop mogul that later won an Academy Award. Combs has often been quoted saying his goal was to come home with an Oscar award by the time he was 45 years old. In 1995, Sean Puffy Combs created Daddy's House Social Programs Inc., which helps inner city youth. The purpose of the program is to empower and encourage students to become successful entrepreneurs. The program's events include Rides for a Brighter Future, NYC Youth Fest, and the annual Daddy's House Junior Golf Clinic. The Rides for a Brighter Future event is hosted by Diddy himself, taking students on a 3-hour horseback ride through scenic portions of New York. The purpose of the event is to take youth out of the city, showing them a lifestyle they would not normally see. This gives an opportunity for the kids to forget about their troubles at home and school, often making them think more positively about their future. NYC Youth Fest is a festival that gives a positive possibility to some of New York's most troubled communities. The festival includes musical performances, sports, and carnival games, with celebrity guests stopping by to lend their support. Celebrity youth can also take part in the NY Science at Work program, a web-based initiative that helps reduce unemployment and underemployment among the city's youth. The annual Daddy's House Junior Golf Clinic gives 100 youth an opportunity to learn the fundamentals of golf from some of the country's finest instructors. In 2003, Combs partnered with Jay-Z and created Team Rock vs. Team Daddy charity basketball game. All proceeds from the game went to charity, benefiting the Sean Carter Scholarship Foundation and the Children's Aid Society. In need for his team to practice for the event, he hosted a charity mixer event at NBA store that was preceded by a celebrity art auction. In 2005, Combs was honored with the Children's Champion Award by the Children of Chernobyl and World of Children. The money raised at the awards dinner was increased by a donation from Combs to a total of $1 million US, which was enough to save the lives of 100 children in need. His career is one of a continuing cycle of peaks and valleys. Maintaining the public eye over the course of 15 years is a remarkable feat in its own. With Diddy's earlier successes still in his pocket, he began to take Badboy Entertainment in new directions around 2000. Diddy wanted to establish a new music industry powerhouse. Hip-hop was changing. Many attributed this movement to his former artists. Jay-Z Diddy believed that artists such as Nelly, Ludacris, and Eminem would become the new movement of hip-hop and wanted Badboy Entertainment to move alongside it. Diddy began to invest more time and money into new ventures. He had plans of starting the world's biggest music television network under the name King TV. Unfortunately, these projects were the beginning of financial downfall for Badboy Entertainment. Unfortunately, due to the failure of such projects and the absence of strong musical acts, Badboy Entertainment appeared to be slumping. Diddy's own endeavors were to cause even more damage. He had established 2 restaurants, Justin's, named after his firstborn son, and a soul food establishment under the name Daddy's House, the same as his recording studio. These restaurants, combined with a close partnership with the Ciroc vodka brand, would later become the root of financial revival for Diddy. At the time though, each of these proved to be a strain on both personal expenses and the financial state of his record label. During its commercial peak from 1997 to 2002, Badboy Records dominated the popular music charts, and its artists and Sean Combs himself were frequent winners at the Grammy Awards and other major music industry honors. Sean's all-or-nothing management and production style caused those who were not contributing to Badboy to allege that Sean was running an extortion racket on various artists, forcing them to become Badboy members. Still, in the end, Sean and artists from Badboy ranged from R&B group 112, to rappers The Notorious Big and Mace, to multi-platinum artist Faith Evans, to all have #1 or #2 debut albums. This also led to Sean Puffy Combs reaching what has been viewed as the peak of his career, being involved in the writing and production of #1 hits for other artists simultaneously, and the release of No Way Out, Combs' first official album as P. Diddy, featuring the first billing for an artist on the Badboy label. By 2002, Sean was appointed chairman of Atlantic Records, where he hoped to earn artists and discover and develop new talent. However, the direction of Badboy from 2002 and on, the rise of Sean Combs alias P. Diddy, and acrimonious financial troubles in addition to controversy and criticism on Sean and Badboy's business practices would ultimately cost the label, and Diddy his once fabled reputation, and nearly his financial solvency in their fall from the music industry's graces, and Diddy having to face these financial troubles to this day. For others, he was allegedly discovered to have done or approved illegal business practices such as defrauding the government in giving Mace social security benefits during Mace's temporary retirement from music, or the submission of an improper video to MTV as a Badboy video but was actually an infomercial financed by U.S. Department of Transportation funds trying to combat underage drinking. The beginning of P. Diddy's troubles came in 2004, where he rejected the presidency at Arista Records to buy back Badboy from parent company Universal Music Group. As of today, we have been in business for over 15 years, and in the music industry that's more like 35 years. We made this announcement because we believe it is time to expand the scope of the brand and take the label to a much higher level. This next era in Badboy's history will be dedicated to the fans. We want to once again give the people the music that they want to hear. Anyone who has been a fan of Badboy over the years will not be disappointed. We still pledge to bring you the best music and entertainment. Thank you for your continued support. As Badboy Records neared bankruptcy, Combs had considered filing for personal bankruptcy. However, in an effort to avoid this, he did file for corporate bankruptcy. At the beginning of 2009, Badboy was still in a state of bankruptcy. On the 18th of March 2009, Combs announced on Carson Daly's late-night television program Last Call with Carson Daly that Badboy was not actually up for sale, stating, "I want to clarify that the bankruptcy filing was a strategic move to restructure the company and eliminate debt." Diddy sent shockwaves through the music industry with his strategy of remixing chart-topping hits from his artists. Though it is widely accepted in the music industry now, Diddy first started to change the chance of things being sellouts to being positive with his remix of Craig Mack's Flower in a Year. The remix was such a hit that it garnered more attention than the original song and solidified Diddy's marketing strategy to set the pace of new trends and redefine old trends in the music industry. He continued to change the game with the shiny suit era that brought flashy and visually attractive videos that had a film-like storyline. Though it is highly criticized, the era generated $500 million in record sales. Diddy's entrance into the music industry in 1992 had a profound impact on the music industry. He was one of the early CEOs who focused on the commercial aspect of the mixtape game, and he changed the game by being the first to do CD mixtapes. He was someone who was not afraid to tear up a successful formula to embrace a new, unproven formula. He did it by leaving the traditional mixtape game in 1995 to start promoting his artists via mixtapes. This strategy gave a huge edge to his artists because mixtapes were more beneath the mainstream's radar, so it let him build buzz for his artists without overexposing them. Now, let's discuss the impact on the music industry. Sean Combs' impact on the music industry has put him in a category of his own. His forward thinking and innovation has done everything from changing the way business is being conducted to the way music is being made. Diddy's approach to the music business is one that is very aggressive and ambitious. Sometimes Diddy's actions are grand and dramatic, such as his famous quote when he said he was going to do to the music business what Michael Jordan did to basketball. This quote predicted the eventual launch of his own fashion brand Sean John, and a mere 10 years later, he is on the verge of doing so due to his long history of success in the music business. Diddy's accomplishments are many, having received numerous awards, two of the most notable being Producer of the Year by Billboard and Best Rap Video by MTV. Along with that, he's been on the cover of GQ and elected as one of the 50 most influential people in the music industry by Rolling Stone. Diddy also broke a hip-hop barrier into popular culture by winning a Grammy for Best Remix Recording, which features the legendary and controversial rock band The Doors. A large part of the business, both creative and otherwise, was the creation of Combs' two marketing organizations, Blueprint and Justin's Brand, which served as consulting and brand development management firms for clients like Procter & Gamble, the makers of Bacardi, and of course Sean John's clothing line. Despite the fact that Puffy wants his success to be counted in the long term over the course of time, he has certainly achieved much over the last 6 years with Badboy Entertainment, as well as revolutionizing music remixing during his 2 years at Uptown. Puffy has made multifaceted career advancements in music production, executive production, and most recently rapping. All of these endeavors have been fulfilled with great success, and Puffy has done more than enough to ensure his well-deserved spot in the annals of music history. Puffy hit the ground running at Badboy with the release of Craig Mack's Flower in a Year single. The single was an instant hit, but the true beginnings of Bad Boy's success were marked by the release of Uptown, MC exiled Notorious Big as Juicy. By the end of 1994, Bad Boy was riding the coattails of Juicy into widespread notoriety. But 1995 was truly Puffy and Bad Boy's foundational year, with a string of hits and commercial successes that solidified Bad Boy as a major force on the music scene. For the following year and in the years to come, Bad Boy would go on to release a plethora of hit music, with the premier abilities of Puffy as a music producer in the limelight. Puffy has repeatedly stated that he wants Bad Boy to be remembered as the label where he returned the focus of music and the true art of music making back to the forefront of the industry. The achievements of Bad Boy between 1996 to 1999 certainly reflect this ambition. Mace is Bad Boy's most experienced communicator, creating hit records that fulfill current trends while still being in his style. Most known for his impact on hip-hop with his album Harlem World, he made one of the biggest impacts on the music industry by retiring at his most successful point to become a pastor. C-Dep was seen as a lesser harsh version of DMX, which was a good thing. His hit record Special Delivery and his hit freestyle That's Gangsta both still bind in the streets today, showing the impact he had. Black Rap's hit record War was unexpectedly released and came with great timing, and was one of Bad Boy's last successful singles before it went into a state of decline. Shine was a rapper who sounded identical to Notorious Big. A lot of his music would be compared to that of Big, and he is constantly asked if he is going to take Biggie's place and sound. Unfortunately for him, Shine was involved in a club shooting and was charged with 10 years in prison, which has stunted his musical growth. Still, as recently as October 11th, he released the song The Life by pushing his vocals and promoting the track with an interview from prison. The Locks left Bad Boy for Rough Riders after being let down by many pushbacks on their scheduled release dates. The big hits from Mace's Harlem World album were written and composed by two rappers from the South, 8Ball and MJG, who were at the time ensuring their spot in the southern hip-hop scene by working with another rapper out of Memphis, Project Pat. These groups enhanced the diversity of Bad Boy and its scope of influence on the music industry at the time. Carl Thomas was the last R&B artist to really break through with a solid hit in the late 90s for Bad Boy. He found success with his single I Wish. Bad Boy's current artists, New Edition, were established way before Bad Boy was ever formed. They weren't launched by Bad Boy, rather just added on to help give exposure with a Bad Boy twist, which Diddy did for the 2002 track You Don't Have to Worry featuring Missy Elliott. They were willing to recreate the group's image and add a rap element to their music. The group's general impact on R&B and what they had learned from the business would all play a part in bringing this article to a close. Bad Boy has an aesthetic that people expect as far as music is concerned. When you get something from Bad Boy, you already know what it is. With our influence with Bad Boy, we can see to it that a certain standard is upheld, and that's a good thing for R&B. Bad Boy Entertainment was a significant company in the 1990s, which managed to change the rules and standards at that time in the music industry. The flourishing phase came between 1994 and 1996, where Bad Boy Entertainment and its subsidiary label, Entertainment, had sold more than 16 million CDs. They can be considered one of the greatest hip-hop record labels of all time for their successes between these years. It revolutionized the old hip-hop music and opened opportunities for artists to become more successful. Through a combination of keen marketing and innovative production, Combs provided the public with a modernistic view of hip-hop's brighter side, generating interest in what had become a controversial music form. Moreover, he artfully established Bad Boy's street credibility before taming his roster's thug reputations. Combs faced problematic adversities, but his prominent singing and rapping artists provided him with a variety of enormous hits. As a result, Bad Boy's popular ascension has transformed Combs into an entrepreneurial role model within the African American community. In conclusion, the story of Diddy's Bad Boy Entertainment is a complex tapestry of success, influence, and controversy. While the label has undeniably left an indelible mark on the music industry, it has also been marred by numerous lawsuits and accusations. These allegations cast a shadow over Diddy's business practices, raising questions about the ethics and integrity behind his empire. As we close this chapter, we are reminded that success often comes with a price, and in the world of entertainment, that price can sometimes be a heavy one. The full story of Badboy Entertainment serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that in the pursuit of success, one must never lose sight of what's truly important: respect, fairness, and honesty.